Hey everyone, welcome to Judging for the Win. I'm Dave, and this is my daily ruling. Today's question was suggested by a viewer. Thanks to Snowfire for this one. Amy connects with Nashi, Searcher in the Dark, while her opponent controls Leyline in the Void. Can Amy return any cards to her hand? Well, to start out, let's recall that the wording on Leyline in the Void is characteristic of a replacement effect. The way that these function, there's no time when the cards that were milled are physically put in the graveyard. They just go straight from the library to the exile zone. But think about what I just said. It still makes sense to refer to these as the milled cards, even though they didn't go to the zone that you might expect them to go. And that's the reason for this rule here, which says that the game can still find those cards as long as they went to a public zone. And so the answer to the question is that because the exile zone is a public zone, Amy can return any legendary or enchantment cards that she hit to her hand just like normal. Note that this rule only applies if the milled cards are put into a public zone. These are zones where all players are normally able to look at the faces of cards. In contrast, the library is a hidden zone, so if we had this Wheel of Sun and Moon instead of the Leyline of the Void, that means Amy would not be able to get any of those cards back in that case, which I suppose makes sense since she would have to get them out of her library in order to do that. For a similar reason, it's not possible to get Progenitus with Nashi since Progenitus' replacement effect puts it into your library instead of going to the graveyard. But take a look at this Emrakul and you'll notice a very important difference. Emrakul shuffling into your library uses the word win, meaning that this is a triggered ability. Its ability triggers as soon as it's put into your graveyard, but it won't be put on the stack until after all the steps of Nashi's ability have been completed. This didn't come up for our Progenitus or Leyline because replacement effects don't use the stack. They just apply anytime the thing that they replace would happen. This means that the ruling is different. If you mill Emrakul and an enchantment, you could return both of them. Any cards that are still in your graveyard would be shuffled into your library after that, but you would get to keep the cards you returned. Let's close out with a challenge question to test your understanding. Amy mills an enchantment while Nick controls Planar Void. Can she get it back? And the answer is yes, because Planar Void exiles using a triggered ability signaled by the word whenever. The exiling won't happen until after all the steps in Nashi's ability have been completed, just like in the Emrakul example. And that's all I have for you today. How did you do? Join me again next time for another daily ruling, but until then, I hope you have a great day.